Okay. Hey guys. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about the idea that inefficiencies later in the mechanics come from, well, are certainly capable of coming from inefficiencies early in the mechanics. So Paul Skenes does a really good job of using the ground. Um, and this will vary from pitcher to pitcher, as anything does. Some people are stronger, more stable. They have better ankle mobility, better hip mobility. There's plenty of things that apply to how we use the ground on our drive leg, and it's all very different. Um, One thing that you do see a lot of guys do is you see them make an effort to keep this knee over the ankle for as long as possible until it's time to wham, drive the knee down into hip rotation. And you can see, right, like stable, it stays in that position as he moves down the mound. You can like see the stretch almost, right? Like from here, stretch, and then explode. And so this is important. It's important to keep your weight back um, because, well, first of all, in order to transfer energy, you need stability, right? I mean, imagine there's a wall in front of me, like right here, and I'm going to push the wall. If I'm not, like, if I just push it, I'll I'll fall backwards if I'm not stable, right? But if I put my feet in the ground and lean into that wall and push, then I can really transfer energy because I'm stable. Um, and that is stability right there, strong and stable down the mound. And he is stable on his backside until bang, stable on his front side. And if we do not do a good enough job of keeping our weight back, then it is going to leak forward early, and you'll not see a very good lead leg block because your weight will be out in front early, and you just won't be strong enough, mobile enough. You'll get disconnected. That's what it'll look like. And I mean, essentially, pitching is about delaying rotation, right? And if you can imagine this knee, right, poking out in like this direction a little bit more, maybe like right there. What that's going to do is it's going to engage his quad and he'll become quad dominant, and you'll see him apply much more pressure to the toe. Um, I like talking about applying pressure right here, and that looks sort of where Paul Skenes is trying to apply his pressure, right? Is if we're going to run like a line right down the shin bone through the front of your foot, that's the area of our foot where we want to feel flush to the ground. And that should also do a good job of keeping our knee here. And as long as we have foot down, knee over ankle, my hip is going to be in a very good and loaded position. Like I said, this isn't for everybody. It's a concept for everybody. We need to be stable in order to transfer energy. So it's about how do we get stable back there? How do we maximize our ability to use the ground and move down the mound? Oh, let me get rid of these. Sorry. So like I said, actually, can I bring those back? No. But what we're doing here is we're trying to keep this hip back, delay rotation for as long as possible, right? And if we get out over onto our toe and we become quad dominant, I wasn't supposed to do that, but if we get if we're applying pressure like here, and then we're going to be extremely quad dominant, that's not stable. If you stood up and stood on one tippy toe, right, are you going to be stable? Is it going to be consistent? Is it going to be strong? No. But if you stand up and you just balance on one whole foot, that's going to be much more stable, much stronger, and much more consistent. And that's what we're looking for. Is we need to learn how to use the ground essentially. Um, and while I'm on that, how to use the ground, medicine ball activities are great for that because they're heavier than a baseball. We It's not hard for us to move a baseball without using the ground. It is much harder for us to feel our mechanics with a med ball that's heavier. It requires us to be stronger in our mechanics to get consistent and good results. So that's really, really good stuff for consistency, med ball exercises, um, whether it be explosive work or just feeling your mechanics off the mound. Both very good. And like I said, delaying hip rotation. If we allow the hip to rotate early, that means everything is going to be early. So if we get more on our toe, knee out this way, my hip is going to follow, right? And then we would be decreasing the distance that our hip and body can rotate, which would then decrease the velocity. We need to increase the distance traveled in a certain period of time to improve the speed of something, right? And that's the goal. I think I had one more point. Oh, yes. So, a lot, there's a pretty common cue. Keep your front shoulder on the target, right? He does a good job here. And it's something that all pitchers, like, this is why most people miss pitch to pitch, like, is just front side inefficiency. It's hard. It's hard to keep consistent. And that's fine. Like, besides the point. But if you're having trouble keeping your front shoulder on, and you feel like you've tried everything, look to the drive phase of your delivery, because our mechanics are probably not strong enough to hold our hip back, and we're just leaking everything early. And that is how people end up just really using their arm to throw and not using their entire body. Paul Skenes is using every ounce, every last ounce. Mid-90s to 100. The drive phase is very important. I've heard it referred to as the engine. I mean, it makes complete sense. It's the beginning, the foundation, I would call it. If it's not strong, then we're going to have inefficiencies down the line. What strong is varies from person to person, but Paul Skenes does an exceptional job of all of it. Thank you, guys. That's all for today.